Hi, I'm Christian Triola, author of the Missing Method for Guitar books, and in this video I'm going to talk about chords, and more specifically how to overcome those obstacles of changing from chord to chord. So your first step when changing from chord to chord is learning the chords inside and out. So to do that, you want to get a chord one finger at a time. So the chord I'm going to use as an example is G major. To get that, you would put your third finger on the first string, third fret. Next, you would go to the last string and put your middle finger on the third fret. And then finally, your index finger would go on the fifth string, second fret. And when you strum that all together, you get a G chord. Now notice that I got that chord one finger at a time so that it was clear in my mind where each finger would fall into place. Third fret on the first string, third fret on the last string, and then second fret of the fifth string. Now the reason I point that out is that is how you want to learn them only initially. Once you know where your fingers go, you don't want to keep doing it one finger at a time, because it will slow you down and you won't be able to move from chord to chord. Here's an example. I'm going to go from G major to C, putting down my fingers one at a time. So here's G major, I've already got it. Now I'm going to go to C. If I do this, I get the C chord. It sounds great, I'm correct, but look how much time that took me to get each finger to fall into place. So here's what you want to do to fix that problem. Once you know your C chord, you don't want to keep doing it like this. You want to think, okay, where are my fingers going to go? Plan ahead and then try to grab that chord all at once. In fact, that's a good way to practice it. Take your hand off the guitar, look at your fretboard, imagine where your fingers are going to go, and then throw them down there all at once. Now, sometimes you're going to miss, and that's perfectly fine. That just means you're working on it. You're working toward that goal of getting your fingers in place the way you want them. Now, what you'll find is once you're able to do that with a few chords, moving from chord to chord will be much easier. Well, I'm going to do that again. Here's G all at once, and now C. There was no delay. I could go from chord to chord without any problem. Now, another strategy that you'll want to employ is looking for fingers that don't need to move. So I'm going to go through a chord progression that uses 4 chords where at least one finger is going to remain in place the whole time. So first, let's take a look at the G chord. We already got that earlier in this video. The next chord I'm going to go to is E minor. So E minor, I take off these 2 fingers, the second and third. Then I keep my index finger in place. It doesn't need to come off the string. It does need to scoot back a little bit because you're going to need to make room for the second finger on the second fret of the 4th string. Strum all those, you have a really nice E minor sound. The next thing you're going to do is keep that middle finger down to move to a C chord. So the C chord, middle finger's here, first finger goes to the note C, third finger goes to the note C on the 5th string, and you strum all those. Now, of course, you want to try to work so that those 2 fingers fall into place at about the same time. So again, E minor, C. All right, from C, we're going to go to a D7 chord. Now, to do that, we're going to keep our index finger in place. So we have the index finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret. We move the middle finger to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then the 3rd finger to the 1st string, 2nd fret. Strum 4 strings, and you have a D7 chord. And then from there, we would move back to the G chord. Now, to go to the G chord from D7, there are no common tones. So what you want to do is notice that these 2 fingers, 1 and 2, are already kind of a unit. So you take those off, you slide your 3rd finger up a fret, and then these 2 that are already kind of in position, you then throw on the last 2 strings, frets 2 and 3, and now you've got a G chord. So that chord progression altogether is G, E minor, C major, and then finally D7. All right, so I'm going to do it one more time without talking through it here. Here we go. G 4 times. All right, so that's a chord progression that you'll want to practice to get better at moving from chord to chord. Well, I hope this video helped you out. If it did, give me a like. I always appreciate it when people do that. And don't forget to go to themissingmethod.com. If you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get a free ebook, and you'll be able to check out all our books that we've got. We've got books on chords, note reading, and technique. So go over to themissingmethod.com and find out more about those. All right, until the next video, get to practicing on that chord progression, and I will see you then.